Have you ever been so desperate that you'd sign your name to anything? A contract, a test, a promise, anything that might pull you out of the hole you've been sinking into. That's where tonight's story begins. One man out of options, out of hope, and willing to trade a few nights of sleep for a little bit of cash. But sleep isn't something you should ever hand over to someone else. Because once you let them into your dreams, into your mind, you might never wake up again. This is his story. The sleep study. I never thought my life would fall apart this fast. The bills were stacked higher than the fridge I could barely keep stocked. My shifts at the gas station weren't enough to keep the lights on. And when my girlfriend of 3 years left because she said I had no future, I realized she was right. I was drowning. Every morning felt like waking up with a weight on my chest. Then one night, while scrolling through job listings on my cracked phone, I found something that didn't seem real. Participants needed for a sleep study, $5,000. No experience required. It was from a company called SleepGo. They claimed to be working on a university research project about improving sleep quality. $5,000. That kind of money could erase my debt, pay rent, and maybe let me start over. I hesitated, but honestly, what did I have to lose? So I clicked the link. A few days later, a woman named Dr. Harris called me. Her voice was calm, professional, comforting, in a way I hadn't heard in months. She said they'd pick me up in a private car and that the facility was about an hour outside the city. When the car arrived, the driver was cheerful, talkative. I barely remembered how to talk to another human, but by the end of the drive, I almost felt normal again. The facility was nothing like I imagined. It looked more like a high-end wellness retreat than a lab. Clean glass walls, pine trees swaying outside, and a faint scent of antiseptic in the air. At the front desk, a receptionist handed me a clipboard. I skimmed through words like informed consent monitoring and side effects, then signed at the bottom. Dr. Harris appeared shortly after, a woman in her early 40s, confident, composed. She smiled as she led me through the building. "We want you to feel comfortable," she said, showing me my room, a small but cozy space with a single bed, a desk, and a large mirror on one wall. She pointed to a small button near the door. "If you need anything, press that. We'll begin tonight." For the first time in a long time, I felt hopeful. There were 4 of us: Lisa, a single mother; Kevin, a college kid trying to pay tuition; Mark, a laid-off factory worker; and me, the guy who'd hit rock bottom. They gave us soft pajamas and attached sensors to our heads, chests, and arms. The wires tugged slightly when I turned my head. Dr. Harris assured me it was standard. "We're just monitoring," she said. That night I slept deeper than I had in months. When I woke, I felt lightheaded but rested. The others said the same. Mark complained about feeling watched, but I brushed it off. The breakfast was good, better than anything I could afford, and for the first time, I didn't feel like a loser. I told myself, maybe this place really could change my life. The second night, things changed. I dreamt I was lost in a forest. The trees were endless black silhouettes against a sickly green sky. Something was chasing me, always close, never seen. My lungs burned, my legs ached, and when it finally got me, I turned to see her, my ex, staring at me with disappointment frozen on her face. I woke up gasping. Cold sweat clung to my body, and the room felt smaller than before. The next morning, Dr. Harris asked me to describe my dream. She scribbled notes, nodding. Completely normal, she said. Your brain is just adjusting to the monitoring equipment. Monitoring, not influencing. That's what she said. But the way she watched me, like she already knew what I'd seen, made my stomach twist. Over the next few nights, the dreams grew worse. I was buried alive, once felt the dirt against my teeth, the air thinning as I clawed upward. When I finally broke free, I wasn't surrounded by soil, but bills, red-stamped overdue, suffocating me. Another night, I was trapped in my burning childhood home. I heard screams inside, but I couldn't move. When I woke, my sheets were soaked with sweat. The others were breaking down too. Lisa had dark circles under her eyes. Kevin shook constantly. Mark wouldn't stop muttering about them getting inside our heads. We started to believe him. Then one afternoon, while wandering the halls, I heard Dr. Harris whispering to another researcher. I couldn't catch much, but I heard two words that froze me. Phase 2. Neural manipulation. That night I pretended to sleep. Once the lights dimmed, I slipped out of bed and crept through the halls. My body felt heavy, like gravity itself was trying to pull me back. Dr. Harris's office was unlocked. Inside piles of documents littered her desk files with our names, EEG graphs, psychological assessments. Then I found a folder marked confidential. The words blurred together as I read, but the meaning was clear enough. They weren't studying sleep. They were altering it, inducing fear patterns to study neural response and brain compliance. At the top of the file was a logo nothing like Sleepco's, just a black triangle with a hollow circle inside it. The company name was redacted. I took pictures on my phone proof, but when I looked at them, every image was distorted, filled with static. My hand shook. I had to get out. The next morning, Dr. Harris confronted me. Her tone was calm, but her eyes, those cold, pale eyes, never blinked. You tampered with the equipment, she said. That's not allowed. I snapped. You're not monitoring us. You're experimenting on us. Her expression didn't change. You signed the forms, Ryan. You gave consent. I tried to leave, but the main doors were locked. My phone showed no signal. The receptionist was gone. The others were silent, staring blankly, like they'd been emptied. When they strapped me to the bed again, I didn't resist. Dr. Harris stood beside the machine, her voice soft as she said, "You should be proud. You've shown remarkable receptivity. This is the final phase." Then came the surge. Electricity crawled through my skull. Images flashed my parents' funeral, my ex walking away, every failure I'd ever tried to forget. I screamed until my throat tore, but she didn't stop. My mind split open, like glass shattering underwater. Then nothing. When I woke, I was back in my room. No wires, no restraints, just silence. Dr. Harris greeted me like nothing had happened. "Congratulations," she said. "You've completed the study." Outside, the others waited by the reception desk bags, in hand smiling like nothing had gone wrong. Lisa laughed about going home to her daughter. Kevin said he'd finally pay his tuition. I followed them out, numb, pretending to smile. A week later, I received an email from Dr. Harris. "Dear Ryan, I hope your sleep has improved. We're running another study for $10,000. It specializes in individuals who've shown unusual brain patterns. Interested?" There was no sender address, just that same black triangle logo. I deleted it instantly. But every night, since I've dreamt of that room again, the mirror on the wall, the hum of the machine, Dr. Harris's voice, whispering through static. Sometimes I wake up with marks on my temples, as if the electrodes were still there. I tell myself, I'm free. I tell myself I'm awake. But deep down, I'm not sure if I ever really left that facility. Because each night before I fall asleep, I swear, I hear her voice. Good night, Ryan. Let's begin phase 3. They say dreams are where your mind feels safest, where it goes to hide. But what if your dreams don't belong to you anymore? What if someone else is watching every second and whispering from the other side of your consciousness? If you ever see an ad that says, participants needed, sleep study, $10,000, maybe think twice before signing up. Because the next time you close your eyes, you might not be sleeping. You might just be continuing the experiment. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this story, leave the lights on tonight, just in case Dr. Harris decides to visit your dreams too. Good night, and pleasant nightmares.